Welcome to the 2021 Mustang GT, a car that really needs no introduction. It has been so popular here in Australia with this beautiful 5-litre V8 engine. Now, because I am a real and proper journalist, I'm taking the car out to the back roads of Victoria so I can just this. It's beautiful. I've got chills right now. I've got chills. Kind of wish I didn't wear a white jumper today though, because it's really bright on my camera. God damn it. And really in today's video, I'm just gonna straight up tell you why you should probably buy one of these before everything turns electric. Now, the Ford Mustang starts at just under 57,000 Australian dollars, which is actually quite reasonable. It is for the 4-cylinder, 2.3 litre EcoBoost. It's a great engine though. It's really, really powerful. So it is a lot of fun. It just, you know, it's not the V8. The one you really want is this GT, unless you care about fuel economy, because that's not great. And it does come with the mighty 5-litre naturally aspirated V8 Coyote engine, or as an Australian would call it, a Coyote. Now, the Mustang GT, as the V8 is known, will set you back just over 70,000 Australian dollars, and it comes with this beautiful Tremec 6-speed manual, which we will discuss in depth. Don't know why I said it like that, but we will. And for about $4,000 more, you can get the 10-speed auto, but that's not the one you want. That wasn't even redline, man. How am I only just discovering this car? The 10-speed auto is actually a very good transmission. So if you're dead set on an automatic or you don't know how to drive manual, it's still a great option, but the manual, you know, it's just more engaging. In terms of options though, this has had everything option to it, and I mean everything. Let's go through the options, shall we? So we have the $650 metallic paint, which you absolutely want. This is a beautiful, beautiful blue, and the over-the-top stripes, the white option is free. The black stripes are a cost option, so interesting there. Anyway, you also get forged alloy wheels, which cost an eye-watering $2,500, though they do help with handling. Not that I'm noticing that, but well, they apparently do, because they're lighter and they're a bit more rigid than the standard alloys, which are already pretty good. I've also got the Recaro seats, which are an eye-blistering 3,000 Australian dollar option, and they're not necessary. They're good, in fact, they're great, but they're not $3,000 great, especially if you don't want to stretch your budget. We've also got the single rear wing spoiler, which is $750. And we have the Magna Ride suspension or adaptive dampers, which is a $2,750 option, but you absolutely want to option that one. If there's any option that you should option, it's that, because it changes the way that this thing drives, as we will discuss. Now, powering the Mustang GT is this beautiful 5-litre naturally aspirated V8 engine. It is, of course, petrol, and it pumps out a whopping 339 kilowatt of power and 556 newton meters of torque. And that will get you from 0 to 100 in about 4.6 seconds with this manual, 4.3 seconds with the auto. This thing is quick, especially for a naturally aspirated car. And for a car that weighs 1.8 tons, this thing is definitely it's definitely got some pork on its fork, as one might say. But let me tell you, the way this thing drives and builds power is like nothing else I've driven. In a world of turbochargers and even superchargers, though I like superchargers, you have an engine that will pick up boost at 4,000 RPM, and then it's really quick, and then it just dies off. This is just, it builds power all the damn way, and sounds incredible doing it. Insanely good. And by the way, if you do want to hear more V8 sounds in future like this, definitely subscribe to the channel. Now, of course, all of that power is sent through this beautiful 6-speed manual transmission, which, as I said, it just brings back so much emotion to how this thing operates. The Tremec 6-speed has proven itself to be an amazing manual, very notchy, short shifts, and you can even get a short shifting kit, which I reckon I would do to make it even shorter. Oh man, these twisties are just amazing. It's such a big, heavy car as well. I'm really surprised. Man, this thing is just on another level. I'm coming out to these back roads more often. insane. Anyway, where was I? Yeah, very notchy. It's a really, really good shifter. Of course, all that power is sent through to the rear wheels. This wouldn't be a Mustang if it was front wheel drive, would it? Put simply, it's just got so much power, even to these Michelin Pilot Sport 4S tires, which are incredible. I would put them on any car. You know, it's a lot of power to the rear wheel. Very impressive power, might I say. Now, there is a lot more to talk about with how this thing drives, but for now, I want to talk about how it looks. Despite being a relatively older car now, I think this thing still looks absolutely fantastic. My only complaint is that I see them so often that it's no longer, oh wow, a Mustang. It's like, oh, it's a Mustang, because there's just so many of them on the road. But the front grille is big, it is meaty. The headlights are really cool. They're a bit on the smaller side maybe, but the daytime running lights look amazing, and they are fully LED, so they're very bright, low beam and high beam. I've really got no complaints. Actually, I should say the really cool thing about the grille is the pony badge on the inside. It's iconic. Absolutely iconic. And then just admire the blue with the white stripes. At first I thought it was a little bit tacky, but it's grown on me. I really I just like the whole look. It's got that Shelby GT500 vibes, even though this is not that. This is not that, but still looks really cool. This side is just incredible. This is a true blue coupe. You've got frameless windows on a beautiful sweeping coupe. There are body lines that just pop, and if you look in the side mirrors, you can really see the huge fat haunches that are the fenders. And it really does remind you just how big this car is. This thing is long. It really truly is a grand tourer, just like the GT name suggests. And then the bum on this thing is immaculate. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of the spoiler. I don't think it's the coolest of spoilers you can get for the Mustang. And fun fact, if you see a GT badge on the back, it is the V8. And if you see a pony on the back, it's a 4-cylinder. So that's one of the ways that you can distinguish that this is a 5-litre fire-breathing Momo. I don't even know what Momo means. Or the other way to tell is the giant 5.0 badge on the side of the car. Oh man. I wish the car in front of me wasn't going so slow. Oh, and how could I forget the beautiful exhausts? Now you can change the exhaust between 4 different modes: quiet, normal, sport, and racetrack. Of course, I would never use racetrack on the actual road, but just take a listen to how the exhaust sounds. It's phenomenal, phenomenal. How good does that sound? And I love the fact that Ford actually allows you the ability to make this thing sound as obnoxious as it does. Anyway, let's move on to the interior. For me, the interior is a little bit of a mixed bag. Generally speaking, it's actually very well built. Everything feels nice, mostly. You do get some hard plastics dotted around the interior, but then there's a surprising amount of soft touch materials. To be honest, it really reminds me of like a early 2000s Ford. I used to have a Ford Falcon, and it feels very similar in here to that. All the touch points though are what matters, and they are all fantastic. I was about to say phenomenal, I'm saying it too much. Ooh. Ooh. Excuse me here while I give it some sauce. Oh man. Oh, I've got to do it more. I just can't get over this thing. I cannot get over this thing. Oh, back to the interior. We'll get back to driving, don't you worry. Yeah, look, I'm not gonna say it's the greatest interior. The Kia Stinger by far has a nicer feeling interior, better quality interior, I would say, but you know, even so, it's still a very nice place to be. Although I will say, I do love this design touch. On the left-hand side, you have a Mustang badge within this really cool, like, elevated piece of dash. Oh, wait, hang on. We found a 100-kilometer zone. This thing. Wow. Wow. I cannot wipe the smile off my face. Oh yeah, I love the raised dash. I think that's very cool. The little Mustang plaque within it, again, very cool. I've got to stay focused. I'm really struggling today. In terms of ergonomics and practicality, I'm very comfortable. The steering wheel is tilting and telescoping pretty massively. The seats are adjusting quite large, and they are partially automatic, but you have to recline using a lever, which is, not the worst, but like for $3,000, you know. That's a lot of money for not fully automatic seats. Man. You have two cup holders in the center, though I will admit if you have a drink in there, it can be a bit difficult to shift because it kind of blocks the way. But if there's no drinks in there, then you have a really flat area for shifting. So it's a bit of a mixed bag. Storage space is decent. The glove box is pretty massive, though the door bins aren't very big at all. You can't fit much in there. And you do get a massive center armrest. And of course you get a little area up front where you can kind of fit a phone. It's also where the USB port is, the 12-volt socket, and there's another one of both of those within the armrest. Next up are these seats. Now, as I said, they're fantastic seats. I just don't know if I would option them myself because at $3,000, it is a bit steep, and the seats you get as standard are actually very good. But if you can stretch the budget, then maybe it's not a bad idea. They are very well bolstered, and even as a thicker person myself, I fit within them very well. And they have awesome lumbar support, really pushes into your back. You guys know what time it is. It's sauce time. They do look very cool though, I'll give you that. They look pretty awesome. This steering wheel is also very good. There's nothing particularly special about it. It is the perfect thickness in my opinion. It feels great in the hands. Of course it is nice soft leather, and you have buttons to control absolutely everything within here, including the digital instrument cluster up ahead, which again is very good. When you change between the different modes, you can change the display or you can just set it to one display that you like. So it's really, really customizable. It's also pretty responsive, color accurate. I like this system a lot. Same as the 8-inch infotainment display, the Sync 3 Ford system. Now, it's certainly not the newest system, doesn't have the most beautiful kind of design to it, but let me tell you, it is extremely functional. You of course have navigation, digital radio, Android Auto, and Apple CarPlay. The menus are laid out intuitively, it's easy to use on the go. You still have physical shortcut buttons like this volume scroll wheel here. Like that. It's not a given anymore, that's for sure. And put simply, it just damn works. I just got away from another Mustang driver. Yes, I'm in the club. I'm in the club! Well, that is a supportive community. I like that. I'm feeling really giddy now. That was nice, all right? That was nice. You don't get that. Like, you know, if you're driving like a Golf around, other Golf drivers don't wave at you, you know? You can see I'm lonely. Now, you do actually get rear seats in the back of the Mustang GT, but let me tell you, I do not fit back there. And it is one of the first rear seats that I just do not fit. My head is just on the roof. It's not like touching it, it is on the roof. This is very much a 2+2. You know, even in a pinch, you would struggle to put adults back there, but children will be able to go back there. And you do get really cool, like, bucket seats. So yeah, I'm not gonna complain. Like, most people who buy a Mustang know that, you know, you're not really taking passengers in the rear often. And then in terms of boot space, you get a huge amount of boot space. This thing really is a grand tourer because you can pack a whole lot of stuff in the back of this thing. It's a practical shape, and yeah, I just really appreciate it. Back to what I love most about this car. And it's that. How it drives, my God. I'm gonna be quiet for a few moments and I want you to listen to this. Did you hear that? This thing, it drives like almost nothing else I've driven. That's not entirely true. I've driven some pretty amazing cars, but this is immaculate. Immaculate. Let me tell you, get the 6-speed manual because soon you're not going to be able to, and you know, I mean, it gives you so much life. I know that sounds so weird and cliche, but it just does. Oh, man. I can't, man. I know, I can only go up to the speed limit here, but it doesn't matter. it just doesn't matter. Okay, so what else is really good is the drive modes. You get quite a few. You got this beautiful like toggle layout down here, all these like aluminium feeling toggle switches, and you can cycle between snow and wet. You have normal, you have my mode where you can customize your driving mode, pretty good. You have Sport Plus 2, and you have racetrack and drag strip. So yeah, quite a lot of modes. And what that changes is the steering feel, the throttle response too, but more importantly, it changes the MagneRide adaptive dampers. So this thing has literal magnets within the suspension, and they change, I don't know, like 1,000 times per second or something like that. And it can really transform the way that this thing drives. When you got it in normal mode, it is extremely comfortable, which was so surprising to me. But then you put it into a race mode and all of a sudden you get stiffer but absolutely bearable suspension. In fact, it's tough to tell the difference until you start turning into a corner like this, and everything is just so well balanced. This thing does not feel 1.8 tons that it is. The steering is not on the heavy side though. Oh my God. It of course is on the heavier side, but that's exactly what you would want in a car like this. And actually, if you do put it into comfort mode, it really does slacken off. So very easy to drive around town. Man, this thing can take the twisties like no tomorrow. I'm really surprised by that, to be honest, because when I got into it, I expected something that was great in a straight line, but crap around corners, and that's just not the case. In terms of is it worth it, the answer is a resounding yes. You definitely don't have the nicest quality interior within here. I mean, it's decent, but nothing special. In fact, the Kia Stinger has a much more luxurious interior. But you know what you do get? You get that and that. You get one of the greatest driving cars at this price point. I would argue it's probably the best, like emotionally, theatrically best driving car at this price point. The way it builds power is on another level. It's just constant. And to be honest, it's really making me feel a little bit sad about the future where we're not gonna have this. You know, you're not gonna have dirty big V8s in cars. The environment's dying, I get that. But it doesn't mean I can't be sad that we're gonna be losing this. It's gonna be electric some way. You know, you might get a nice 6-cylinder with a lot of power through electric motors, but I doubt we're gonna be seeing more of these V8s. Actually does make me a little bit emotional, I'm not gonna lie. We're losing that. So yes, the Mustang GT is without a doubt worth it, without a doubt. Thank you guys very much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button and comment down below. What do you think of the Mustang GT? Is it a car that you want? I certainly do. And would you take this over a Kia Stinger GT, which you can click over there to watch that review now. Ciao for now, and I'll see you next week.